There we go. It's up now. So we need to turn on the Uber conference.
Oh no. Did you hear that?
What?
I'm gonna turn it off because the Bluetooth is paired.
No, it shouldn't. Matter of fact, let me.
Just turn it again.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the Bluetooth.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Thank you.
Turned it off. What? Come on, Uber conference. All right, family, we getting ready for our toast and talk. Want to make sure I got everything I need. We want to make sure we got everything we need so that we can go and do what we need to do here at Gye-Nyame Journey, like we do. We're gonna open up the black lines. I'm just gonna request that those that call in, wait patiently until after we get done with the toast, unless we start conversating a little bit before. Okay. We got to use the internal mic because my mic is not working. I don't know what's going on with that. But,
It's old.
It is old. You ain't got to be trying to hurt my feelings. Damn.
You are the first participant on the Super Conference. Please hold while we wait for the others to join.
All right. Let's get it kicking. This is why my computer's slow over here, because Cleve got it. I don't want it on the internet. All right. Family, I want to welcome you. I want to say great day to you. Great Kuumba to each and every last one of you. And of course, you are now standing in the congregation of the mighty, the home of the stubborn minority, the place where you... This is the Daily Toast, and of course actually this is the Toast and Talk, and this is a Heart of a Simple production, where we strive. Let's get it poppin'. Some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Drink. Or should we say, breathe, then drink? Now, grab your cup full of that water. Get your picture of that water. Lift that picture of that water. Now, simply pour some water. Simple, easy. Drink. Or should we say, raise, pour, then drink? Now, move your body, drink some water. Move your body to drink some water. Move your body to drink some water. Family, move your body. Drink. Or should I say, move, then drink. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. What? Raise your glass and toast your ancestors, huh? Raise your glass and toast your ancestors, fam. Just raise your glass. Drink. Or should I say, raise, toast, then drink. Now, take your breath and drink some water. Lift and pour yourself some water. Move your body, drink some water. Raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Breathe, live, move, toast. But to stay healthy, remember the 4 pillars, family. Listen, breathe, drink, eat, move. 4 simple things you can do to stay healthy. Ha! But hey, take your breath. Breathe with me. Lift and pour. Move your body out, out. Toast your ancestors. Drink with me. Drink your water. Drink. Drink your water. Family. I want to welcome each and every last one of you here for our Toast&Talk Kuumba. We about to pop it off real quickly here. Shouts out to Davey 711. I saw you out there, Junior, as well. Shouts out, family, for all those that want to connect with Gye-Nyame on a more regular basis. We would suggest highly that you go to GNJmedia.live. Once again, that's GNJmedia.live. Uh-oh, Brother Steve is out there. What's going on? We need to talk. So, like I said, I'll be over at the school if you in town. Stop through and holler at a brother real quick. Just about 5 minutes of your time. If you could call after the show as well. This is Brother Steve I'm talking to at this point in time. But GNJmedia.live, go to GNJmedia.live. Now, there you get the points for the contest. I'm still figuring it out. But we have been having winners. Also, family, to stay up with us when we do our toasting and talking. When we're going to do some toasting and talking on those evening shows or those late day shows, you can hit us up. You can just text the letters. Text GNJ, those the letters, to the number 25456. That will put you on our text list so that we can keep up with you. So now today for the health drink, I'm gonna drink some straight black coffee. This is called Chiapas. I'm down to my last. I got my mom got me. My mom got me a grinder, a coffee grinder. For Christmas, and a coffee maker. So it's a coffee grinder and a coffee maker for Christmas. And I got me some whole beans. This is a brand that I get here in Columbus from Sister Callie, and it's called Chiapas, estate grown from the highlands of Chiapas, Mexico. It's Mexidus, 100% organic coffee. To get yours, go to www.mexidus.net. Order today. Here, let me just put it up there on the screen so y'all can see. And those that know me, y'all know I love me some coffee.
Dark coffee, strong coffee.
Very strong coffee. And a number that you could contact so that you get some is 614-7. Hold on, Sasha. 614-783-8255. 614-783-8154. Once again, that is 614-783-8154. I am enjoying. The coffee is rich and black. And you know, I like my woman like I like my coffee dark, old, and bold and strong.
I thought you got that from Whole Foods.
No, I ain't get that one from Whole Foods. Look at that.
Why you got that in your glass?
Because I toast with my glass. That's what we do here.
You gonna drink coffee for your toast?
Yeah, I'm gonna drink coffee for the toast. Black coffee. You know, and not that sugar-laden coffee, but black 100% coffee. Black like me. Black like you. Black like those of us out there, giving shots out to all those black folks out there. I'm talking about that black one. Not the fake black. You know what I'm saying? So family, we are going to do our toast and talk, but I am going to get the ancestors out. If you want to add your ancestors to the list, get on the black signal. Or you could type them in right from where you are right now. It'll pop up on the screen. I have a pen. I have the black book where I'll put the ancestors in, because understand this is an important part of what we do here at Gye-Nyame Journey. You know what I'm saying? The lineage therapy family. Our ancestors have left us a wealth of information. Our ancestors have left us a wealth of experiences, a wealth of stories, and we need to go on and start grabbing them and using them to move ourselves, our culture, our people forward, rather than being constantly stuck in neutral. So let's do it. Let's do it. We're going to have some conversation today. Now, for those that don't know, before we get into the toast, we have the warrior training today from 3 to 6 p.m. So y'all come on out and join us over at the Millennium Community School. We're going to have some of the warriors there. And warriors, listen, I want you to understand, warriors is an age grade that could go from about 14 all the way up to about 35 years old.
Can I tell them the address?
Go ahead, tell them the address, please.
3500.
3500 Refugee Road. So, come on out. We'll be out there doing our thing today. Family, I'm hoping to see you out there. And like I said, I probably will be broadcasting some of it. All right, now, also next week, we got 2 events scheduled, right? I only got the flyer for one so far. So we will be having Brother Bonacci. He will be coming to Columbus. He will be here the 7th, 8th, and 9th of next week. All right, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So I hope y'all ready. Now listen, on the 7th at 6 p.m., he will be at the study group that will be taking place at APDS, 1409 East Livingston Avenue, I think. Then on the major event will be at the Millennium Community School on February 8th. In the morning, it's limited seating because I told you I got 2 events going on, so it's limited seating. So if you need to get in touch with some of the people, some of the family at Tawee, so that you can get your ticket and get your seat reserved, we will be having it at the Millennium Community School starting at 10 a.m. It should be a meet and greet. 12 noon, we will be having a free catered lunch. And then from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., we'll be having a workshop and lecture. Get to meet the author, Bonacci. He has a book, Deconstructing Aspects of the Social Construction of Race and Racism in Western Culture. All right? Breaking down racism, and I'm not, because I don't want to get blocked right now, the Negroization of African Americans, how and why it's done. So come on out, family, because he's going to be talking about culture, he's going to be talking about education, the necessity of an Afrocentric education, and a whole bunch of other stuff, family. And also the brother is a teacher of the what y'all would know as hieroglyphics, but those that are actually into it, understand it as Metu Neto. So it's going to be a lot of good information that's going to be passed here in Columbus for next week. And it's only $10. It's only $10. $10 will cover the whole weekend, from what I understand. But to get in on the February 8th thing next Kuumba, it'll be $10. $10, only $10. But today's Warrior Training, family, is free, so come on out. And you can witness Brother Kwame getting his hat, Sister Cynthia getting her t-shirt, because that's how we do it at Gye-Nyame Journey. So shouts out to Brother Kwame. I see you out there as well. So first, family, let's get into this toast, and then I'll open up the lines. And then even if you don't call in, y'all know how I do it. I'm going to talk about some shit. Because this Kobe thing really, really got me. Yeah, I was very pissed. I was very pissed. I told y'all about the Ari dude that somebody suggested that I check out. And I went and checked it out. Now, and it was only a minute, and I was so damn pissed. I was like, I don't believe this shit here. I really don't. But then again, I do believe it because it's part of the game that's being played with us, family, right? It's part of the game. So, and sometimes I like games, especially serious games. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this life or death. So anyway, we're going to raise up our glass first to the Creator by whatever name you choose to call it Creator. We lift up our glass, we raise our glass, and we say the mighty and the powerful words of what? Thank you very much. We raise it and we say Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? Y'all know where we go. We go to our list of our beautiful and our powerful and our loving ancestors that we choose to salute every day here on Gye-Nyame Journey. Give them a round of applause. Family, because I know that I would not be who I am if not for the ancestors that participated in bringing me up. And I'm very grateful for who I am and what I have been allowed to do, right? My ancestors placed their hands around me and allowed me to operate in this world in the way that I do and still be able to live a life. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't full of wealth and all that, but it's pretty good. I'm living pretty good. Like, pretty good for you, isn't it, Sasha? You don't know? She says she could work. Okay, you on that heroes things. But anyway, we raise our glass to our ancestors. Miles Brown, Ms. Ann, Robert the Texan, Davis, Herman Brown, Senior, Rosalie, Tilly, Georgia, William, Walter, Chris, the family, Fanny, Gatson, Aunt Lean, Uncle Chris, I'm Fiend, Cleveland, Geneva, Brown, Margaret Ellis, Wash Ellis, Cecil Ellis, Alvaro Brown, Gina Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twigs, Wash Ellis, Junior, Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Tappan, John Fallar, Montague Pittman, No More X, Pet Ma, Rob Malika Fakour, Dr. Marianne Williams, Kojo Kamal, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusef Weston, Elder Ajani, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Ajani. Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Brofro, Hector Jr., Elder J, or J Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling and Lucy Wright, Gail Pulley, the Luxter Brothers, Miss Eda Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Brunson, Miss Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janice Foster, Charles Jordan, Kel Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Triggs, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Renderman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Lois Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Raymond Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Kellen D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Melvin Dale Hodge, Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clay, Bird Beatty, Sarah Well, Levita Farmer, Agoso Sue, Shell Harvey, Aunt Charmaine, Aunt Evelyn, Theodis Hasbury, Harvey Hasbury Sr., Leonard Dixon, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thornton, Pearl G. Thornton, Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thornton, Erica Tricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, Oh, yeah. Juanita, no, it's Juanita, yeah. George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, Mary Esther Keisha Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Linda Watson Hammonds, Jarrell Giles Watson, Sparrow, Slimmy, Selvin Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore Jr., Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bowden, Charlie Hunter. Is it Charlie Hunter? Richard Thornton, Lovina Hall, Freeman Bankster, Mae Moss, Sophia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kitty, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quells, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quells, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, Charles Bell, Vivian Ramsey, S.C. Johnson, Delrita Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W. West Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry World, James Farmer, Mary Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Harry Levester, Mary Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martinez, Ada Amatep Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Thelma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey Eleanor Howe, Frank and Russell Dave, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Vina Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brenda Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carlos Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy, D'Amico Russell, Didi Mon Aries, Gina Ruth Jones, Jana Callahan. We got William Walter West, Nigella Paris, Elder Basiji Fulani, Jim Robinson, Gladys Johnson, Valerie Clark, John and Mary Sullivan, Dirk Johnson, Antonio Johnson, Delise Waters, DeFritis Hines, Annis Bostic, Edna Bostic. I know y'all seen your boy. I had at least half of the first page memorized. I'm getting it. Edna Bostic, Winifred Scatterbeard, Wilson Haley, Emma Hines, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratley, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Printup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Will Belongmeyer, Eddie Cannon, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Pino Carter, Mark Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Nayland Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue Ann Stevens, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, Audrey Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Jennifer Sensabaugh, Hazel Gasson, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Kathy Bradford, Thomas Bradley, also known as Uncle Pookie, also known as Gypsy, Reverend Roosevelt Word the First, Ace Trash, Frank Smith, Mother Butler, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Urban, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Doyle, Amina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Donna Hill, Richard Glebus, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, George and Hallie Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Dean Evans, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell. I'm back at Alexander, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eula and Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harriet, McKay, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Eno, Baby Hatchet, Senior Mally Miller, Halsey Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Dixon, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Dorita Ross, Riola Ross, Robert Nelson, Preston Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Lily Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Cofer, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mae Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joan Perkins. I had to grab the Gye-Nyame. I guess my ancestors are in the house and they enjoy. I got some of this memorized. So let's go. Janie Harriet, McKay, Spencer Sturgis, Anna Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Eno, Baby Hatch, Senior Mally Miller, Halsey Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Nixon, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Dorita Ross, Riola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Lily Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Thomas Cooper, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mae Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Harrison, Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Leroy Q. Heath Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Vanilla, Alice Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Erton Houston, Lud Alls, Elijah Alls, Jerome Alls, Henry West Staten, Joe Jamel Alls, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Beth Vaughn, John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Tim Butler, Ramey, Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Baba Naeem, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Brantley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Mira Ellis, Elizabeth Sanders, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Irvin, Hiram Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Irvin Sr., Michael Irvin, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rashawn Easley, Jabez McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Shekamaha Reed Jr., John Reed Jr., Patricia Reed, Edward R. Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Lois Fernandez, Jacqueline Broadus, Reginald Oliver, Mazarine Cooper, George Swan, and Monia Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles A. Scott, Michael Morgan, Charlie Morgan, Sybil Edwards McNabb, Benny Ferguson, William Ferguson, Shelby McClendon. From there, family, where do we go? From there, we move to the Black Book. For those that are new, we will enter your ancestors in here. We got Jordan Giles, James Carswell, Brother Adams. Also known as Aunt Sis. We got Elder Shaka McNair, Anthony Brown, Jonathan Poore, Lottie Gaucher, Cousin Tony, Michael Johnson, James Jimmy Johnson, Barbara Shank, Lewis, Ronald Sheldon Jr., Damon Top, Stina Banks, Joseph Bingham, Quincy, Mama, Aunt Lady, Abraham Isaac Cundiff, Aunt Barbara Lewis, Renee Johnson, Joy, Ryan Ross Riggins, Jermonte Marcus Price, Ness Words, Marshawn McHale, Demetrius Beard, Herb Jefferson, Ralph Mickens, Eric Walker, Quasi Sample, Candace Simmons, Severin Clayton, Leonard Jones, Sade Garner, Melvin Scott Sr., Clarence Lumpkins, Elizabeth Johnston, Frank Smith, Stacey Trice, Denise Correa, Nathaniel Hassan Turner. Khalid is in transition, also known as Nigel Turner. We got Demetrius Lewis Flint. We got Alberta Woods. We got Geneva Simmons. We got Daniel Tilley, Angeline Gant, Sharifa, Oscar Kane, Audrey Gripper, Dominique Nichols, Ruth Elaine Johnson. We got Teresa Sambu, Aunt Maxine, Uncle James, Henry Munger III, Tamara Dowdy, Nicole Harris, Julia Taylor, Richard Bozeman II, Ruth Carter, John Carter, Mr. Thornton Johanna, Cassandra Lynette Lewis, Henderson Mosley, Charles Jordan, Henry Essex II, Fannie L. Webb, Dan Walton, L.T. Sue Walton, Emma Walton, James Randolph Giles, Sonny Pete Walton, William Walton, Fred Powers, Elijah Juan Hakeem Nkomo, Alberta T. Davis, Charles Davis, Willie R. Mackey, also known as Dr. Karimi Mackey, Victor Bowden, Drusilla Kitty Berger, Lucy White, Robert Lee White, Emma Jean White, Talton, Roger White, R.L. White, Jesse White, Ruby Jewel White, Johnson Carl White, Desi Woods, Tilar Woods, Lennox, Jim Woods, Lizzie Woods, Juanita Alexander Brown, Cynthia Ann Wright, Richard Dorsey, Annie Simpson, Jamara Simpson, Regina Hopkins, Joseph Simpson, Nettie Dorsey, Eleanor Hopkins, Edward Webster, Alice Webster, Ivy Webster, Arnella Willis, Ethel Lane, Samantha Damon, Ethel Marshall, Steve Dougie Shelton, William Bill Walker, Carl Rico Johnson, Kim Gray, where we at? Kim Gray, Stuart A. Johnson, Edward Young III, Isaac Jackson Sr., Drusilla Murrow, Wayne Young, Christina Young, Thomas Young, Frank Murrow, Sylvester Foster. We got James and Lizzie Winston. We got Abe and Julia Lawrence. We got Ozell Leathers Sr., Gladys Coper, Ozell Leathers Jr., Geneva Jackson, R.J. Lacey, A.K. R.J. Lacey, also known as Tooth the Don. We got Saber Winston. We got Chris McKinney. Giving it up once again for all those ancestors. Thank all those that's tuning in. We have lifted up our ancestors now. We salute them and we say Ashe from their family. We move to the present moment. And what's popping off at this moment? Right now we are in the time of Kuumba, family. I am begging you. I am asking you. I implore you. Seek out Kuumba today. Look for it. Hashtag Kuumba. Hashtag Kuumba found. Take a picture of it. Write about it. Sing about it. Do something creative for it, right? This principle, we have to look for our principles on a daily basis, and we need to go on and post them up, right? So that, because we got to compete with some of the foolishness that's out there. I know it's a shame. I know some of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because there's some people out there that just need that little push. So that hashtag Kuumba or Kuumba Day might catch their attention, or that hashtag Kuumba Child, hashtag Kuumba Child, right? Kuumba Born Day. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines, those little clues, those little birds, those little seeds might strike somebody, and they might start looking into it and be like, what's Kuumba? Where this word from? Wait, I ain't got nothing to do with, and boom, before you know it, they're doing research. And they might run into one of us, and we'll be able to have a conversation so that they can understand what it means to be born on Kuumba Day. Right? And to all those that were born on Kuumba Day, we want to send you a round of applause. family. We're going to lift our glass for Kuumba. I'm asking you to seek it, but if you don't speak the language, Kuumba means creativity. The Ma'atic principle that we're celebrating today is order. The color is orange, as you can see by this beautiful Daily Toaster shirt. Look at that. Look at, I didn't like orange until I got this shirt. It's popping, right? Cause and effect is the Hermetic law. The male name for the day is Kwame. Female name is Ama. We raise our cup to this present moment. We are in the moment of Kuumba. Family, let me tell you, in the moment is the power. We have the ability to choose. We have the ability to take action right now in the moment. And it will, one, be hopefully a reflection of the past, the energy from the past, because the reason that we are here is because of the past. Our ancestors and our elders, they have guided us to this point. Now we're going to take that energy and that wisdom and that power and that space and time that they have given us, and we're going to whip it up into a stew of power and carve out the space and time and the resources for our future generations in this moment. But we can't do that if we're not doing something constructive with it. We can't do that if we're living it in confusion. We can't do that if we are crying about past and if we're concerned and fearing the future. No, we got to embrace this moment and move in it with Kuumba, move in it with power, and direct this moment so that we could get out of it what we're supposed to get out of it, so that we can have something for them in the future. So we raise our glass and we salute this moment and we say, Ashe. Now, from there, we move to our future generations. We raise our glass to our children, our children's children, on to infinity. And by raising our glass, we make a pledge to them that we will do everything within our power to make sure that there's space and time for you. Brother Hatim, what do you mean space and time for them? Family, if we're not handling our business, it is other people's goal to move us up out this space and time. They want to get rid of us. We can't allow that to happen. Can't allow that to happen. So we have to be able to fight tooth and nail if it takes to make sure that we are here, that we are able to remain here, and we are able to pass on the sacred trust that our ancestors passed on to us. Right? We got a better understanding of it now, hopefully. And we understand the importance of it. So we want to make sure that we're going to protect it, and we're going to pass it down. All right? We raise up our glass, and we say, Ashe. I don't know, Sister Navita said, what happened? I don't know. What happened? You tell me. So we salute our children, our children's children, on to infinity, and we say, Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? Where do we go? We head towards all of our relations. We toast them and we say Ashe from all of our relations. You know this, that selfish toast. This for you, family. What is it that you need? What is it that you need in this moment to move towards your greatness, right? We raise our glass to that and we say Ashe. From there, I want to toast the most magnificent, the most powerful, the most beautiful, most uplifting and inspiring individual in the room, family, and you know who that is. Don't be shy. No, it's too late to be shy. You done turned me on now. You looking at me right now. Don't be shy, because it's all about you. I raise my glass to you because it's the daily toasters like yourself. It's the daily toasters that's going to come. It's the daily toasters that might not watch us right when we broadcast it, but always tune in later. It's those daily toasters that's downloading the podcast like crazy, and I'm really digging it. It's those daily toasters that should support what we do. I salute and I toast each and every last one of y'all, and we say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I can't deal with the freezing. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't ask the West Asians, man. They trying to stop us from toasting, but they can't stop the power because it has built up. Family, I'm letting you know right now, the black line is open. It's open. It's time for us to have our toast and talk. I'm sipping on that beautiful coffee that I got from Sister Callie. Where is it at? For those that want to know, because here we like to support black business. There you go right there, that Mexodus. And this is my last little bit. Man, I missed the mall. I ain't got no soap. I gotta go. Why? But hey, it's the order of the day. So we do it, man. You know, so it's like, yo, man. But yo, the mall is coming back. So we got to keep y'all abreast, you know, and we want to make sure that we're able to do it up right because we got to, you know, we got to get ready for this Malcolm X Festival. Hey, speaking of that, we're going to start taking our donations for the Malcolm X Festivals. Or I don't know if we call them donations because it's not tax-free. I mean, we could make it tax-free. There's ways to do that, you know. But last year, I tried to put all my donations on my taxes and it ain't make a bit of difference. I guess I don't make enough money. Living that ADOS life, right? You know, so family, I got the lines open, 614. Forgot my number. 614. Gina! Oh, 614-556-4535. I'm getting old, I forgot. Call in, we can have this toast and talk. If not, I'm gonna go down. I got it, Gina, I found the number. I'm going to go down our timeline and discuss some of the stuff that we ain't been able to discuss during the week because I've been slipping on the evening shows. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to say it. Shit, I'm tired. I'm old. I'm proud of being old, right? Because there's many people, you know, that didn't make it to the age that I'm at right now, 51. 51, man. And it feels so good, right? And I got so much experience, but you know, one of the things that often happen to me is that I have always had a good memory, especially when I put stuff in a story format. But I also get lazy, so I will have a brilliant idea. I say, all right, cool, I'm about to do some work on that, and I will say, okay, I got it memorized, boom, and not write it down and walk out and forget what the hell. And it could have been something to say the world, or something happened and it just take my mind, and all of a sudden the thought that I had is missing. So one of the things that I started doing, because on every birthday people give me journals, and what I'm about to do is also I got a Gye-Nyame journal that I'm gonna order me a few copies and start, you know, journaling. Now y'all gonna start seeing. For those that didn't catch it, yesterday, I put up a video that I created, and I'm gonna pin it to the top of the Gye-Nyame Journey timeline for a little while, at least for the day. And it was called Politics as Usual. Now, for those that wanted to know, y'all that had the opportunity to see it and probably was like, what in the hell is this? About 4 or 5 years ago, I started going through old movie catalogs because they are public domain. And I started going through the public domain movies, and I found this movie, and it was an old plantation movie. And when I was watching the movie, what I started to notice was politics as usual. Now, this is 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up here, I'm looking at this shit. I said, unbelievable. So I was able to show, just in a joking way, looking at the plantation, you know, how things are still the same. You understand what I'm saying? Just looking at it, and I just got little words on there, just pointed out, you know, like nation building and revolution without, revolution and change without wise nation builders and elders to help guide it. You know what I'm saying? You can see that in there. You can see how the Democratic Party treats us in that. You know what I'm saying? You can see how guilt is often used against us. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. And I looked at this shit years ago, and I was like, oh my God. So I said, let me go and do it. And also that gave me an opportunity to experiment with some of the stuff that I'm going to try to share with people at the Warrior Training today, because the one of the major questions, because we had a big conversation about culture a couple of weeks ago. And one of because it don't fit into the definition of culture in the way that a other people look at it, or even the dictionary. For me, when I talk about culture, I'm talking about a living thing. Now, I'm getting this whole concept from me doing this ambrosia, right? Me doing that ambrosia, or me learning about fermentation, right? And one of the things that I noticed about the fermentation process is that the SCOBY, or the symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, has a symbiotic relationship with me, right? I'm down. So let me break this down. So you have a thing called, I'm gonna write it up so that everybody can see it and you can look it up for yourself. When I stumbled on to brewing the kombucha, right? I kept on running into this word, and the word was capital SCOBY. SCOBY, right? And SCOBY stands for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. Symbiotic. You know what I'm saying? It relies on other things. You know what I'm saying? It develops a relationship with other things. And what the SCOBY does is that the SCOBY, bacteria and yeast, come together with a mutual understanding that they need to survive. And they come together and they form a chain. They form with billions and trillions of bacteria and yeast. They form a patty. It looks like a pancake, and that will cover the surface of the tea, and it will extract the caffeine and the sugar or the honey. It won't allow anything else in. So this bacteria and yeast forms this symbiotic, now listen, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. Now, not only do the bacteria and yeast have a symbiotic relationship, the bacteria and yeast also develop a symbiotic relationship with the tea and the honey. So, because the tea and the honey benefit because it takes them through a transformation. And then, guess who drinks it? Which means now I'm in the symbiotic relationship with this thing. And the one thing about this that came out, because the key word that kept stepping out to me, that stuck out to me, was the idea of the culture. And the first thing that the bacteria and yeast does is in a sense, it sets its border. So that nothing outside of its crew can benefit from what it's eating. And it makes something that I like, so that I will continue providing it with the tea and a safe place for it to exist. So in a sense, the culture of this bacteria and yeast has provided it with a means for survival. Not only a means of survival, but a means of thriving. So when I'm talking about culture, I'm not talking about it from, because it took me a second to really understand, because it don't line up with the definition from Webster's. I'm dealing with the idea of a culture from watching a culture of billions and trillions. I don't even know how many I got down in my basement right now. You know what I'm saying? My patties are this big. And I take good care of my patties. I take good care of the culture because they take good care of me. And they take care of elders within my community. And that culture is providing for them. Now, one of the key pieces for me is this. If your culture has to provide for you. It has to be something that is produced from that culture that you have to be able and strong enough to protect and be able to not only sustain yourself, but to promote trade with other beings or other, you know what I'm saying? Promote some type of trade, some other type of relationship with other groups. Now, if your culture, and this is where we at, if your culture only exists because of another culture, then you are a subculture because your culture is up under that other culture. What we want to do, what I'm trying to do, or what I think we as a family is trying to do, is to get our culture from up under another culture so that we can look at eye to eye. Right now, a lot of us, we're dealing on the fringes. We're dealing up underneath. We don't want to admit that shit because it's very uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? To be like, I'm a sub of anything. But a lot of shit that we develop is subculture. Why? Because it's not producing something that can help us survive. And see, because now this is why I say culture is a meme, is a living idea. And it has to produce a mutual benefit for those that practice it. Right? Because if it does not, then it will be crushed out of existence. Because there's other things I could do with my tea and my honey. I could save my money on my tea and my honey. If that culture is not providing me with what I need, I get rid of it. I discard it. When a SCOBY is, in a sense, too old to do what it does anymore, you know what I'm saying? I have a place in my garden for it. I have a place in the compost bin for it. When it no longer can produce, that culture is no longer any good and it needs to be discarded because now we can't trade. And what we got to understand is what happens in the world is this. Either I trade with your culture for what we can exchange, or I take it over. And I'm constantly always trying to take it over because it would make it easier for my culture to control your culture or your group, because your group got a culture, you know what I'm saying, to control your group and get them to work within my culture and produce what you produce for you, for us. And that's what's been happening to us, family. You know what I'm saying? Make a long story short, I don't even know how I got on that shit. I'm sorry. I don't even know how I get on that shit. Somebody call in, but politics as usual. All right, so let's go up a little bit. I wanted to look at this coronavirus real quick. Let's take a quick look at the WHO says prepare for local outbreaks. China slams U.S. control. So we got this coronavirus floating around, and I don't know if the WHO has gone and unleashed and said this is but I do know that Australia and the United States are stopping planes from China even coming into the country. Beijing, China deaths toll from a new virus rose to 259 on Saturday, and a World Health Organization official said other governments need to prepare for domestic outbreak control. If the disease spreads, here we go with that bullshit. Everybody know I'm on. So share it with people, let them know. You know what I'm saying? Listen, share with people on, because everybody got phones. Y'all know I'm on, so stop calling me. Officials said other governments need to prepare for domestic outbreak control if the disease spread in their countries. Beijing criticized Washington's orders barring entry to most foreigners who visited China in the past 2 weeks. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced similar measures on Saturday, following Japan and Singapore. Meanwhile, South Korea and India flew hundreds of their citizens out of Wuhan, the city at the center of an area where some 50 million people are prevented from leaving in a sweeping antivirus effort. The evacuees went into a 2-week quarantine. Indonesia also sent a plane. The number of confirmed cases in China's rose to 11,791. In the 2003 outbreak, because this virus is just a different form of SARS. Y'all remember SARS? Severe acute respiratory syndrome. The virus rapid spread in 2 months prompted the World Health Organization on Thursday to declare a global emergency. So they declared a global emergency. So family, drink your water. Drink. You know what I'm saying? Take your breath and drink your water. Listen. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to prevent a bunch, but some of the basic viruses get hold because in some form or fashion, our immune systems are compromised. we got to do what we can to make sure that our immune systems are intact. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, so we got, in a sense, we got a health emergency. The WHO has declared this a health emergency. They trying to stop a pandemic, y'all. That's what it looks like. Here's another one. What if the key to performance psychology is spirituality? They dancing on my turf right now. This is from Forbes. Oh, hold on. The last article I read, I want to make sure I send out the credit. The last article I just read from was from MSN.com. So MSNBC, that means NBC is owned by Microsoft? Interesting. I mean, I should have known that, but MS, is that Microsoft? Anybody out there know? Like I said, it's important that we start grabbing our own medias, dog. I mean, we need to use these channels as long as we can, and y'all need to get on the black signal so I can let you know, because there's other ways that I can broadcast and get in touch with you without even going through any of these services. There's ways that we could do it, family. And I'm trying to tell you, because like we have been preparing for some fuckery for a very long time. Somebody's on the line. Who this on the line?
Ngubi.
Who?
Ngubi.
What's up, Ngubi? How you doing today, my good young man?
I'm all right. About yourself today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Nothing really. I just called because I can't listen, so I figured I'd call and hear.
Okay.
And figure out what we're talking about.
Cool, right?
And if I got anything to add, I might.
Okay, cool. So go on, listen in. We want to send some shots out to Ngube for tuning in. Got his ancestors on the list. On the list. All right, so here we go. This article is from Forbes. What if the key to performance psychology is spirituality? Hold on. This is Forbes. Ain't Forbes about business? What they talking about here? Let's see. Cause y'all need to know, family. Y'all need to know, because some of the stuff your ancestors was on, other people are starting now to be like, hey, that kind of makes some sense. Hold on. Let's go and see what they talking about. Last year, I proposed a unique perspective on trading and investing. The mistake that we make, so that we know who's talking. There's somebody by the name of Brett Stenbarger. Okay, Brett, let's see what you're talking about, Brett. Last year, I proposed a unique perspective on trading and investing. The mistake that we make in financial markets are not primarily ones of emotional disruption and cognitive distortion. Rather, they are the results of ego attachment. Our financial investment becomes ego investments when we gauge our success and predicate our well-being on our profitability. Once that happens, we fear missing winning trades, refuse to exit losing ones, oversized positions, and cutting winning opportunities short. No amount of self-help can truly help us if the self has been hijacked by ego. Brother Kwame say the psych and what is called spirituality deal in the same archetype. So is there truly a difference? An excellent point, right? And they're starting to come to this conclusion, Brother Kwame, right? Listen, they're coming to, because when you look at psychology and you look at the process through which it was developed, and you look at the founders of it and look at what they were studying, family, it comes right back to you. You know what I'm saying? Kwame used the term archetype. Archetype is a word that, in a sense, was put together by somebody by the name of Carl Jung. Now, you do your own research and find out what Carl Jung was studying. The stuff that your ancestors practice, what we're doing right now, calling our ancestors and pouring the libations and drinking healthy and building places and reasons for us to come together. This is part of building culture, right? This is something that you could plug into that will make you successful, because within the culture is also the spirituality. Now this dude is a big time. This is Forbes magazine looking at this. These are people that deal with money. So now they're saying it's not about self-help anymore. They're moving towards an idea of spirituality so that they can get control of the ego. They want to stop edging God out and start edging God in. Especially if you want to be successful. At least let's see. In the blog book that I subsequently wrote and posted online, Radical Renewal, I expanded on this thesis, illustrating how sound decisions in financial markets and indeed in all of life spring from the soul, not the ego. This may initially sound mystical and unbearably touchy. And Gube, I'm going to I'm gonna put you on mute. When you want to talk, all you gotta do is talk loud and or it'll bring you back in. Cause somebody, when I put people on hold, they're able to get back in. So let me check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I had to mute his microphone. So here we go. Let's get back into it let's dive into this real quick. This may initially sound mystical and unbearably touchy-feely, but is actually quite objectively observable. Consider the role of idea generation, or what might be called Kuumba. I'm just saying. Among portfolio managers at the world's leading hedge funds, these managers develop robust processes for removing themselves from biases and distractions, connecting to valuable resources or valuable sources of information, and then processing that information in novel ways. This creative process is far from ego-laden. Indeed, it often springs from cognitive activities remarkably similar to meditation and prayer, dampening internal chatter and allowing a different voice to emerge. The idea advanced in radical renewal is the world's great religious and spiritual traditions are a veritable goldmine of practices for moving beyond ego-laden self-talk and discovering soulful wisdom. These traditions are perhaps the greatest crowdsourcing experiment in history, revealing perspectives and practices that have inspired and guided self-aware individuals for millennia. Family, what do we do when we get up and we toast? These motherfuckers is light years behind us. What do we do when we get up and toast? If you are not plugging in, you're wasting your time. Get off my timeline. Family, if you are not receiving benefits from toasting and putting your ancestors on the list and us moving into the treasure trove of wisdom and guidance that is available for us, get the fuck off the line. Because family, listen, our ancestors are waiting for us. And right now we are taking real actions on a daily basis to connect with them. And if you are not using the tools, you are wasting time. You are wasting your moments. Our ancestors are there. They're not there necessarily to knock down and to knock your opposition out the way. No, they're there to show you the holes in their strategy. They're there to guide you to victory, not get the victory for you. What this dude is talking about in Forbes magazine, those of you that's been participating with us, we've been doing this. Now it's time for us to move forward with it because the world's starting to recognize it now, right? On Forbes magazine, hell, they might as well label this the Daily Toast. Plugged in with the Daily Toast. It gives me a second so that I can go on and do something similar to meditation and prayer. See, because I had a sister actually say, Brother Hatim, do you meditate? I said, not like I used to, but every morning I get up and I sing my Drink Your Water song. She said, that's not meditation. I said, why not? I said, why not? I'm emitting sounds like a mantra. I'm breathing in a certain way. right? And on top of that, I'm partaking in bringing a substance into my body that is very necessary. How is it not? Matter of fact, I think it's more powerful than some of the meditations that's out there. But that's just me. That's just me. I digress. Let's go on to the next article. Y'all can read that for yourself. That's up on the Gye-Nyame Journey timeline. And don't be shy to post up on the Gye-Nyame Journey timeline. On the group, on the page. The group is private. If you want to get in the group, all you got to do is go there. Somebody, either myself or somebody, will allow you into the group so that we can have more, intimate and freer conversations. The page is public, but I want us to start posting as much positive, or I ain't going to say positive, balanced news as possible so that we can get the most out of it, so we get the information that we need, so that we can start having some of the conversations that we really need to start having, rather than the ones that we're being guided to, that will get us nowhere fast, that will keep us swimming in the circle of other people's culture, that will keep us claiming stuff that will not help us, that will keep politics as usual. And that brings us to the next. Let's go. Africa's worst locust plague in decades. I just want to throw that one in there. Threatens millions of billions of dollars of damage. They say they got clouds of locusts in East Africa that are the size of cities. I don't know. I mean, they say that it's so thick and so big that the military is trying to shoot these motherfuckers. I mean, I want you to imagine that. I want you to imagine so many things coming at you that it darkens the sun. Their shadow darkens the sun. This is how many are coming. So we got diseases, we got plagues. We got plagues just popping up all over the world. Family, our ancestors talking to us. It's time for us to get busy. We got to take the world back because nobody know what they're doing. Almost everybody on here is an interloper and in the wrong position. We got dummies running the world. And it's time for us to step up. Right? But it's going to be uncomfortable because some of us going to have to do some shit that we're not used to and that we don't like. And we're going to have to lose some of our notions. It's very uncomfortable because, as long as I've been sitting around thinking about this shit, I've been thinking about like, damn, some of the shit that has to be done, that's going to need to be done, takes a special. You know what I'm saying? It takes a motherfucker with a certain view. And once again, which brings us back to the religion and spirituality, because as Ma'at Center as Egypt was, or Kemet was, they didn't mind going to war. But I mean, we don't talk about that, do we? We really don't. You know what I'm saying? We get into, for me sometimes it's almost like we get so far and so deep into the spirituality that we become of no earthly good. I'll be running into some of these people that's so myotic, you know what I'm saying, that is ironic, idiotic. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up here like, goddamn, Maya brings balance to the universe. And sometimes she do some cruel shit to bring balance. Some cruel shit got to happen. She don't necessarily do it, but she got her own henchmen to go out and handle business. We got to understand that. That's what Harry Cootie was. That's what the God of War is for. The God of War is to serve Maya and goes out and shit, I'm bringing this shit back to balance. That means 6 million of y'all got to go. Hey. Sucks to be you. Right? But let me go on. Let me move on. All right, politics as usual. Check it out. And also coming up, I'm going to have a live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. I am going to be presenting one of the folk tales directly from Gye-Nyame Journey. Somebody else is on the line. Who is on the line?
Navita, hold on.
How you gonna call in and tell me to hold on? You hold on. You always trying to boss somebody around. Let me go on and bring Ngubay back in. Go call.
I just wanted to turn my dryer off because it's so loud. I didn't want it in the background. Real life here in Gye-Nyame, Jamie.
Real life.
But here's what I called to converse with you about today. As you know, we have Benachi coming on the 8th, and we are reading his book in Aztec Study Group.
He's a promoter of diabetes.
What is that I'm hearing?
He needs to get paid for that.
In Hawaii.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You hear Hot Tim? Okay, I don't know what that. Hot Tim?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about was, he talked about a little portion of the book about how they made a quote-unquote.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I couldn't at first. It was like something he had in quotes how the United States had made something quote-unquote legal as far as like they have legalized their cruelty and unfairness. And he referenced the whole ICE piece with the ICE and immigrations and how they have legalized their mistreatment of people under the name of that whole ICE thing. So, and he pretty much was talking about how America has legalized a lot of things that are, for lack of a better term, illegal. So with that being said, we got into a conversation about the word legal and how though some people will quote-unquote be quote-unquote conscious, but they do everything, they put credence in some of this shit that they label as legal, and then the people who don't really put credence in it, they get looked at like they're the crazy one.
Right.
The troublemaker. For example, I thought about this, I was reading this, I seen this interview years ago with Tupac Shakur, and he said he was with a friend. They were out probably in like the desert area somewhere, you know. They were far out, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, no cars for miles, nothing. Land and opportunity. They saw the red light is there. Tupac runs the red light. And his friend said, man, you can't do that. That's illegal. And he looked around and said, there's nobody here to do anything about it. I'm supposed to just sit here and wait for it to change. And there's no cars around. He said, you really brainwashed. They really got you brainwashed that you would sit here knowing that there's no way you would be hit by a car if you went through or anything. But that's how they're not even nowhere near you to enforce you to do it. But this is how trained you Negroes are. You're going to sit there and wait for that light to change. Now, I never thought about that until yesterday, what that really says about an individual. What is your opinion on that? I mean, it may seem something small as a red light, but really think of the power that means that. Why wouldn't you go?
Why wouldn't I go? What do I think about the whole concept of
concept behind it? Because it goes above more than the red light.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things. I mean, it's a lot of things that people will not do because it's illegal or state sanctioned. But then you see the same type of behavior with religions. There's certain things like, for example, a Muslim will not touch pork. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you know, for pork eaters, that's silly as hell. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so there's all types of training, and in order for society, and going back to my whole culture piece, in order for a culture to exist, there has to be those type of rules and that type of programming going on. Now, the red light is something small, being out in an empty area like that, but an individual still holding the law. See, because the law is what keeps is the idea of the law supposedly stops society from falling into chaos. This is what we taught. So in an instance, we can say the dude is brainwashed. But we can also say that by him being willing to follow the law, he is also could be considered a keeper of the order.
Right.
Because let me say this, Navita. Would you want to live in a world where anybody?
You have to be able to know. That's where common sense comes in to me. There's a common sense piece that we all should have. Because, for example, if he's a keeper of the order, okay, and the order says you should stay at this red light, but then you look and you see somebody getting fucked up in the distance, but the order says you can't run this light. That's when you have to have a common sense thing, like, okay, I don't see nobody around me and shit. I'm not going to cause an accident. It's time for me to break this rule. You know, it's to me, it's a shame that people don't use that common sense piece, whether it be religion, which I think is, at least with the religion piece, you get somewhere out of there, I guess you get some feel-good shit in it somewhere.
Yeah, but
I don't understand how for the life of me anybody can put credence in when the United States says this is this, and just put credence in it because they said so. I don't understand that.
It's not just because they say so. It's just not a matter of them saying so. It's the matter that they had the power to give you consequences if you do get caught.
And that's true. That's a part of it. And they have that much fear that when you know you're not going to get caught. That's like being on the plantation and the plantation master got you so goddamn scared that when you do see an opportunity to go,
you won't go.
You won't go.
You won't go. Matter of fact, there's a book
I think we are dealing with that same mentality as the motherfucker at the red light.
Now, Brother Junior says.
And Goodbye, what you think?
Can I finish, woman?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be rude. Okay, go ahead.
Brother Junior says that's power to stop at a light with no car coming. I'm walking. Nothing controls me. Self-control is the best guidance. Law is living as white. LAW. Go ahead, brothers. Go ahead, Junior. But Nguye, my boss just asked you if there's anything that you wanted to say. So she come on and take over the goddamn show and just want to pump me all the time. That is not right, Sister Navita. But I'll see your ass this afternoon.
Okay, great.
Well, I certainly understand that scenario there, being so trained that even when no one's around to see you, you still do things. That becomes detrimental when you continue to do things that are against yourself.
Right.
You know? So it's definitely a concept to be open and aware to, and be aware of, and know where to apply it and where not to apply it. It has to be defined, or it should be defined in a person's mind, that some things that are considered law are reasonable to do. I think the biggest issue was not whether the light was run or not, but the fact that the brother felt necessary to impose that rule on somebody else in a situation where it really didn't matter.
Yeah, good point. Good point, Nguye.
Now I'm gonna say this too, because I am an individual of I have a lot of addictive qualities about me. And there's certain rules that I'm serious, that I apply to myself. There's certain things that I will not do because I already know where they would get me. And sometimes, how can I put it? Sometimes, because like Tupac was so extreme. Because you got individuals that are super extreme that don't want to. You can't have a society built on a bunch of motherfuckers doing what the fuck they want to do. You can't do that.
But that's what you have, and he wasn't extreme. I disagree, but go ahead. I think the system that we're in is extreme.
Oh, no, well.
And the people who fight against that extreme system are looked at as the extreme. That's what I think.
I don't believe this system is extreme. You know what I'm saying?
You crazy.
I'm just saying, I don't believe it's extreme.
I believe mass incarceration is extreme.
You say who?
You don't think mass incarceration is extreme? You don't think the shit they do down there in the name of child support court is extreme?
No, I don't. I think they doing what they need to do to survive. It's not extreme. For you, it might be extreme. But they
may take extreme measures.
Oh, yeah, see, but that's different. Hold on. Taking extreme measures is different from being extreme because that's the issue. No, we have to, in a sense, be extreme like that because what are the extreme measures that we're willing to go through when motherfuckers violate the basic rules of our community or the basic rules of our culture if they are in our culture?
I got you, but you're playing a semantics game.
I ain't playing no goddamn semantics game. I don't think it's
extreme measures, but they're not extreme.
I don't think that's semantics.
There you go. Go ahead.
I think what happens is Tim wants to give us permission to do what we need to do. And one way to do that is to give them permission to do what they need to do.
I agree, but it doesn't change the fact that it's not extreme. If they have to take extreme measures, that's the point being made here is the extreme measure piece, not whether we should have the right to do what they do, we do. I'm talking about the extreme measure. You said that it's not extreme, and I'm saying they are willing to take the extreme measure.
I don't think it's extreme.
Because we should be willing to take the extreme measure.
The extreme measure.
To protect our stuff.
Okay, so in that case,
to do it in our best benefit.
In that case, but I certainly understand. I understand why you would not say it was so extreme, but I also understand what you're saying.
I always understand what she's saying. I ain't gonna agree with her shit because she gonna keep on. You know, I ain't gonna agree with that shit.
Whether it's extreme, extreme, not extreme, they do what they do.
They do what they do.
And they're willing to
they're unapologetic. They're unapologetic about it. And they're willing to do anything. Now, if you don't want to call it extreme, you can call it they're unapologetic about it. They're very unapologetic about it. I'm just saying, listen, I'm saying for me, this ain't everybody. I don't speak for everybody. This is our show. But it's not extreme to me. But I do understand they're willing to go to extreme measures to make sure that they shit stay in place. And the question I have to always ask us, are we willing to go to extreme measures? Because that means that we would have to do some very uncomfortable shit in order to support our shit. Because I'm going to stop right there. Brother Kwame says, you must have a metric in order to say something is definitely extreme. What is the metric? Uh-oh. Talking to you, Navita.
The metric would be, like you said, it's extreme to us. But let's just take the extreme out of it, because I still think we're saying the same thing and we're getting caught up in the
We always say the same thing and we start arguing.
Let's take the extreme out of it. Let's take the extreme out of it and just say that they're willing to do whatever it takes to make their system exist. Whether it's uncomfortable for others or even them sometimes, long as it furthers their agenda. We can take the extreme out of it if you have a problem with the term extreme. We will just say that they are willing to do whatever it takes to further their agenda, whether it makes others uncomfortable or themselves uncomfortable at times. If it's for the survival of the group, they are willing to do it.
They'll do whatever
that's all I'm saying.
It takes.
Now, you might not say that's extreme. You may say that, let's just take the whole extreme part out of it. They're willing to do whatever it takes. Because I think we're saying the same thing and we're getting caught up in the term extreme.
I think initially, though, the term extreme was applied to a specific action, not general, wasn't it?
Well, I would say they're willing to go through the extreme.
Right, but it was applied to something specific or initially.
No, I think I said I was willing to go through they're willing to go. Well, we had already talked about the light, but then he went on to something else and he said that was about them doing what they do. And I said, well, they're willing to go to the extreme to do. And he's like, well, I wouldn't call it the extreme. He said, I would call it they are doing what they need to do to keep, It might be extreme to us, he said. Yeah.
And I also do agree that you have a specific standard, and the idea that it has to be well, it is defined. It's defined to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be defined to somebody else.
Right.
For the conversation to be understood. And you know, so point.
But I get it. We don't even have to use extreme. Like I said, let's just drop the extreme pieces. I think we're saying the same thing and getting caught up in a word that doesn't. We won't call it extreme. I'll say it's not extreme. I'll agree with how Tim said they're just doing.
Now, since you agree with me, these motherfuckers extreme. I never seen all this shit is extreme. Just because you agreeing with me, these motherfuckers.
Not extreme.
These motherfuckers extreme. This shit is out of
Not
hand.
extreme, I thought you said. But nevertheless, whatever you want to call it, they're willing to do whatever it takes. Go above and beyond the call of duty, so to speak, to maintain what they have or what have you.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it makes themselves uncomfortable or others, if it's going to make them go forward, then and keep them in their standing, so to speak, with their white supremacy and that agenda, they're willing to do it. And I think that's what we're all.
Let me ask this question.
All right.
Were we like that in Kemet? Were we like that in Mali, Songhai, Ghana? Were we like that?
I think in some places that probably existed. Let me just say this. I'm not one of them people that think that all Africa, the continent, was so perfect and they never did anything that would be considered uncomfortable to others.
I think in any system where you have a small group of people trying to control a large group of people,
go ahead, break it
you're
down.
going to have definitely extreme measures. And that would be any government that exists today. Small group of people controlling very large groups of people.
Or not only today, but in the past, because the reason I'm asking that is this. With the way that history shows us, because for example, looking at culture in the way I was describing it, after I have a defined area, once me and my group grows beyond that area, we're going to start encroaching on other people's stuff. So either we got to come to an agreement with the people whose land we're going to be moving in, or we got to go to war. Now, if I don't have any interest in being in you and negotiating with you, I'm coming to take your shit. So I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care. So it's like this. I'm saying that to say that human nature is this. If I don't want to negotiate with you, I'm going to take your shit. And I'm saying that is across the board. See, because sometimes I think we look at our history and we get so googly-eyed and shit, not realizing all the wars that Egypt fought, all the wars that it took in order for some of our empires and some of the kingdoms or whatever we want to call them, for them to maintain what they had, because you always have people either trying to encroach, and when we stopped doing that, we ended up in a fucked up situation. You always got to have individuals that's willing to go to the extreme to maintain your culture, because if you don't have people that's willing to go to the extreme, then you don't have a culture. You have to be willing, in order for my children to have what they need, and for us to maintain control, and for us to maintain our space and our time, you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to lay it down. Not only am I willing to give my life, I'm willing to take your life. This is how these Europeans, this is how these West Asians run. You know what I'm saying? This is how the Chinese run. This is how the Japanese run. This is how the Indians run. And when you get outside of that mindset and start going to all this spiritual bullshit where we talking about the masses can forgive, but the government never forgives and never forgets. I'm just, I'm throwing that out there because it's like sometimes we get so deep with some of it and we want to put ourselves up on a pedestal where we can't even live on this goddamn planet. Because we're always going to have somebody trying to take what's ours. Because if we got a valuable resource, somebody either want to get it super cheap or free. I'm not willing to pay what you want for it. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to have individuals in your culture willing to go to extreme measures. This is why Kemet had a standing army. They didn't have a standing army, and was one of the first cultures to have a standing army. I'm not going to the farms and getting these farm boys. I need individuals that are professional killers. That's what was going on in Kemet. When you look at Mali, you look at Songhai, you look at Ghana, you look at Zimbabwe, the reason Zimbabwe built walls was because they knew they had people come from the outside trying to take what was theirs. So not only did they have the people to build the wall, they had the people to protect the wall. Culture. The white blood cells, let's say. I'm sorry. Don't get me going off. But hold on, let me say this and I'm gonna shut up. Brother Junior says when codes were made for America, black codes weren't included, so we should have a sit down and revamp the laws. Cause most laws in the U.S. are written to make white ladies have ease of life. Brother Kwame say context is everything. Must have the definite context to be clear. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying we got to revamp how we really, in many cases, how we look at life. Because really, in many cases, we're able to look at life from a very comfortable position and judge certain actions when we don't really understand.
So that's why when in reading in his book and talking about things that are legal and things that are the law, and this is not the first time he's touched on this in his book, and how your very own people who claim to be, for the lack of a better word, conscious, will look at something that is legal or law and automatically validate it just because they say it's the law. And then anybody who may not do that will be looked at as like the troublemaker, so to speak. You always causing trouble. You know you ain't supposed to be driving with no license. That type thing. And that's just an example I'm just throwing out there off the top of my head. It may not be good or bad, but I'm just saying that's the type of thing. Or like he don't take care of his kids. That's why he had to be taking the child support court. Because he don't take care, and that's without even looking into it, or the child support court system is here to help the children.
Yeah, whatever.
And they don't even think about the people that said that they was there to help children and put the law in place. It's just because, but these will be the same people that will say United Snakes and this and that, and then they're like, oh, he was taking the child support. He don't take care of his kids.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
But they do that because, you know what? On paper, the system says that's what he is on paper.
Right.
And they automatically believe it.
Right. I mean, they respect the law of the land. Until we are able to develop something where we are able to keep our own stuff, you know what I'm saying, and to provide consequences and shit for what we believe, then there's always going to be. This is why.
And he said, and I always say this, I'm interested to meet this Banachi guy. He said there's only two things, and pretty much he said yesterday in his book, that will work in overthrowing this system that we're in. And he said pretty much it has to do with money, economics, and violence. That's it. And until we're prepared to realize that, he said we will always have a problem in this country.
Always.
As black people.
Well, that's absolutely true, because the only thing that actually backs the law is violence.
Mm-hmm.
The people who can make war successfully are the ones that are in charge.
Are the ones that's in charge. And
I say that
you know
all
what?
the time. So, me and this brother have a lot of similar views. I can't wait to meet him.
Check this out. the ones that are willing, it's not even win. It's the ones that's willing to take it to that point. You understand? It's crazy because it's like for example, they say respect the laws of the land, but if you are a dignitary from another country, there's certain laws that just don't apply to you. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have something backing you up.
Right.
You have a whole nother group, a whole nother culture backing you up. And this in a sense what we have to start really looking at, because there's motherfuckers out there, you know what I'm saying, that are running these streets. As you said, as you pointed out a long time ago, that are our warriors that we are not able to take care of. We need to always be able, because a culture needs to be able to provide and protect for the people, or at least a portion of the people. There has to be some type of resources that we are able to gather around and be able to benefit from and to protect. This is why, like I went into the whole definition of the culture piece. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I try to look at things from where I'm at. I love the dictionary, but sometimes that shit be way out there. Just like with some of the spiritual shit, we be way out there. You know what I'm saying? We calling on shit
way out there on the spiritual shit and the dictionary shit. I collect dictionaries. That's my thing. So.
I used to too.
That's one of my things.
And I don't have nothing
it's
against it.
Interesting to see the change of definitions through how words definitions change through the years. Very interesting. How some words are omitted, some words have been added, and some definitions have literally changed.
Oh yeah, but you know what that is? That goes back to our principal system, Kuti Chagalia. The ability to define for yourself, the ability to define. That's what we are supposed to have. We can't define our own existence. Other people define our existence right now. Other people define our existence.
Tariq Nasheed calls that I'm white and I say so.
I'm white and I say so.
And that's the end of it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying...
But this is what's crazy about that. Now, if I say, for example, the word polygyny, Polygyany, which I didn't find it in the dictionary, but I have come to find out it's a name that was created to mean when men marry multiple women.
That's because you spelled it wrong. That's why you.
Yeah. And so, like, they have different groups, polygyny groups. The Polygyany. They have different polygyny groups and things like that. And it's an African American thing, or I'm just gonna say a black thing, or whatever you call yourself. But I have had people, everyone will try to Google it, and people will say, like, you spelled it wrong, that's not a real word. Oh, I forgot, because the white guy didn't say that it was.
And that's
Polygyne. Gyne is in gynecology. It's Gyny.
Yeah, I might be. Say it again in Dubai.
It's gyne is in gynecology. Polygyne. But you're right. You say a polygyny, but just for the sake of spelling, we understand.
So maybe I was just spelling it wrong the whole time, or whether people. I'm getting it from the people that I'm on Facebook, the groups that I've seen. But let me go. I can't go back and look. But
yeah, it should be Polygyny. Polygyny.
Maybe that's why. But I've had people tell me that there's no such word as that.
Yeah, there's a word.
Well, you won't
and is in the dictionary.
But I don't even want to get into the whole poly thing. But I'm just saying. But that's a whole nother thing.
Now we got Brother Junior. He put up 2 posts. He said the Berlin Conference, At the Berlin Conference, the planet attacked Africa. Laws to keep Kemet from ever coming into existence again. New iPhone pace, we are awakening. What the hell y'all doing down there?
In the book from the Berlin. He talked about the Berlin Conference in the book last night, actually. I hope people show up and, really come and check this brother out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that bumping thing, what the hell is that? Oh, that's not y'all? Okay. I'm sorry, family. Real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. I heard a loud rumble, and I'm like, what the hell is my children doing? But also, Brother Junior says, wow, the ghetto got more warriors than folks know. How to organize them is the challenge.
That's the challenge. I was just saying that last weekend. That's the challenge. We just got to get them on the right team and realizing who their enemy is and organizing that.
But
Exactly. And I think the prison system knows that. That's why you have so many in the quote-unquote warrior class locked up with double numbers.
But then also, I'm going to say this.
Because once they realize that, hey, I'm on the wrong side of this, and they flip to the other side, they know where they're in trouble. So they just get them in these crimes, and then I'm like, we're going to double digit this brother. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to break him down.
I'm going to say that.
When and if he does come out, he'll be so afraid of coming back that he will kill that warrior spirit. That's how they think.
No, but what makes it possible for warriors to be warriors? Culture. And the culture being able to provide for them, for protecting them. So one of the reasons that it's hard for us to organize warriors is because we don't have, in a sense, an economic life to be able to finance warriorship. So it don't matter whether they get out and find out who the enemy. If we can't feed them, it don't make no motherfucking difference. That's all I'm saying. Because we know some of the ones even before they got locked up. We already know what they was on. They weren't just out here doing dumb shit.
So you don't think that we have the spending ability to finance that? It's funny to say that we had a brother that was in class last night, and he quoted some kind of something trillion of spending power that we have as a people. On this planet. And I know, they have also, this is the thing, you'll find a study that could say anything.
Yeah, you can.
And then you also see the study that says there's a median of 1,700.
1,700.
Then you'll have some study that says that they spent X amount of money on hair weaves or whatever.
Right, blame it on black women. Come on.
Disposable income.
Right, we supposed to got a lot of disposable income.
Do you not think that we have that problem in the black community, or do you just think we don't have any money to get behind a sufficient, we don't have the sufficient amount of money to push a movement. Do you think that's true about us as a people?
Now, I'm going to say this. We could redirect some finances and get some stuff moving, but we still have to develop the resources where we got the world coming to us to get. You know what I'm saying? And control those resources so that we can start developing other income. See, because this is one of the things that I want next time somebody bring up the term spending power for black people. I want you to ask them, what is the spending power for white people? And why we never talk about that? Certain things that you only hear conversations about us. We got about $1.72 trillion in spending power. Now, that's less than probably 3% of the total spending power that's in all of America.
But that's not the point he was trying to make.
No, but hold on, Navita,
possibly put forward other things. We can all. So you're saying we don't have the? You feel like we don't have any? We don't have any spend. We don't have the ability to put certain monies together to back a movement for our people because we don't have enough money to do that.
I don't believe.
Is that what you're saying?
Listen. Can I finish before you? Let me finish. Now, once again, I'm saying before when somebody come at you with the spending power argument, which is something that is only a matrix that they mainly use with us, ask them what the spending power of the other side is. Now, I'm going to say this.
Okay. So
wait. Can I finish?
Yes.
Can I finish? So
I thought you was done. Go ahead.
no, I'm not. I'm never done. Now.
I know you're never done. Just hurry the fuck up, though. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I do believe there are certain things that we can do, but we still have a lot of work to do, and we won't be able to do them to the point that many people think that we could do them at. And this is why. Because one of the major things that you're taught in America and through American life is that big bank take little bank. So if I have 98% more than you, I can always find a way to buy you or somebody that's with you out. Period.
Okay.
I could crush
Can I
your
go yet?
suppliers.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead.
So are you saying, I'm just trying to be clear, because I have mixed emotions on this. I'm just trying to be clear where you're coming from. Because here's the kind of thing that I struggle with, is when I say, okay, like the brother said, we have this amount of money, you should ask him about what the white folks is doing. Okay,
no.
And then you're saying the reason behind asking how much the white folks their spending power is versus our spending power.
Right.
That's what you said. I'm just trying to shorten it.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Well, go on, get to the point. Other people heard me. What's the point?
Jesus. You said about their spending power, compare their spending power to the black people's spending power.
Right.
And then you said the big bank take little bank. So at the end of the day, should we just do nothing because they have big bank and we have little bank?
Now.
Or, that's what I fear, this whole, well, what are we going to do anyway? I mean, they got more money than us. Or do we have that mind like, okay, you know what? I have to admit that I have some disposable income that I could put somewhere else and profit for the better. Maybe it's an extreme measure for me to not get that weed or not buy that, out to eat. Like my thing would be going out to eat. I would have to cut that type of shit down, and I could put some of that money towards the revolution, and we all, did whatever our vice was. We took some of that money and put it towards the revolution. Should we not do that because we don't have the money, because they're bigger than us? And then when we look at their spending power, then they're going to take over us. So just keep your fucking money and blow that shit.
No. You done?
Is that what you're saying?
Are you done? Can I go?
I think the silence is indicative of that.
Smart ass. Listen. Now, I never in my statement said not for us to do nothing. But I think we need to be very realistic about what we're talking about. Now, one of the major pieces I'm talking about is developing our resources so that we can start taking control of something that other people need and can only get from us, from the top to the bottom. Now, but then I'm going to ask you this question because I don't believe I really need to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question in the sense with a question. What do we do, Sister Navita? I mean, because do we not direct some of our expendable income?
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
Now,
I'm asking you this as a group because I honestly don't really have an answer for this thing, so I'm just trying to get where you're at, because I don't really have, I don't know.
Well, where I'm at,
my hands is in the air with it. I can't give you an answer to whether or not, about whether how much money we got. Can we do it? Can we not? Because then when I read this study, it says this. I do think we can do something, but then are they going to take over? Should we not do nothing? So I'm just asking for some guidance on shit. That's all I'm asking. Maybe anybody in the comments going to tell me what they suggest we do? And then before you talking about developing the resources, Hakim, what resources are you talking about?
All right, cool. Now, today during the warrior training, I'm going to go a little bit more into detail about some of the resources that we could be working on developing, right? Because it's like having true ownership of something that you, in a sense, can control, right? So that you can produce wealth from that, or you can produce some type of cash flow. Because one of the major issues is that we have a cash flow issue. Now, certain businesses that some of these people coming to the meetings talking about getting into, it will be almost impossible for us to compete. But if we could find those things that we are uniquely born for, to create, born to do, and find ways to finance and find ways to develop finances off of that, I think we will be able to have a better chance of being able to do something. Because it's like right now, most of the business that people are talking about going into and pulling our money together to do is competing with other companies that's out there. And we already know what happens when it comes to us competing. We don't have the funds for that. You know what I'm saying? Because as beautiful, because let's just take it back, as beautiful as Dr. Umar Johnson's ideas for the school, you understand what I'm saying? We already know those people that have any contact with the school business know that he's not raising enough money to do it. And you have people that's taking...
He's not going to have enough, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got people
they don't understand that, though.
You see, but what I'm saying is, and the same people that don't understand this is the same people that's coming around telling us, we got a spending power of $1.7 trillion.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. When you talked about developing something and something that we can be strong in, reminds me of, you ever watch Shark Tank?
Yeah. I've seen it on YouTube a little bit.
The one famous line of the guy that everybody loves to hate on there, which is Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. One of his famous lines is when somebody comes in with a certain product and he says, you know, the industry is like, for example, a beverage. He said that's a hard thing to get into. People will kill you in the beverage market. And he'll say things like, well, what's stopping me from coming in and crushing you like the cockroach you are? Which he is merely saying, I got the money and the power over this particular thing. So what stops me from coming in, just taking your shit or spinning off of your shit or blocking up your space that you can't get on the shelves? You know, what's stopping me from doing that? Because I have investment in that same type of a product. So, you know, I think that he's saying pretty much the same thing. You're saying, like, what's stopping them? If we say, we want to get into this and it's saturated already by someone else, we might want to find something else. Possibly, I think, that's what you're saying. And I don't know. I don't know if that's yay or nay, but I think that, you know, that's what is being said here. And I remember Killer Mike, if you remember, what did he say? When your parents say you can do and be anything you want to do and be or whatever, he said, he's like, that is not true. Do you remember that? And the little kids was looking at him like...
Yeah. Oh, you talking about on the show? Yeah, that shit was... See, but, you know, I was one of those kids that was told that I could be anything. You can be anything. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, but the harsh reality hits. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, but, you know, the point I'm making is, no, it's not about us giving up. It's not about us not taking actions. There are certain actions that we could take. And there are certain things that we can control. And there's certain things that I believe we can build our culture around and protect as our own because they only come from us. You know what I'm saying? What are those things? And it's a matter of getting our young people to sit around and give them some space and time. Because, like, for example, I asked one of my kids, I said, turn it off. I asked one of my young people, I seen her, I said, you don't come to my meeting. What's going on? She said, y'all meetings don't meet with me. She young too. I don't have time no more. I said, what you don't have time? I'm working. I said, girl, you got your whole life to work. This is the freest you ever gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this information to you. Right? So we got our young people pursuing jobs that is just gonna move them into a job market that's gonna constantly keep them too busy to really even look at their shit when we should be having our children looking at and perfecting skills that they will be able to take into the marketplace at a later time. You understand? So, I mean, but, you know, I can't tell her you shouldn't have a job because maybe her family need that money. Maybe she need the money for her school clothes. And I have absolutely nothing to give her other than information. But I do know, But I do know that she has the type of mind that once we find what it is that she's in love with, she's going to be able to research and come up with something powerful. But right now, one of these corporations got her doing a dead brain job. Dead brain. Our best resource are our most valuable minds. Like we used to have the gold mines back in Ghana and you know what I'm saying? Those are all right now working at the Subways, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, you know what I'm saying? The mines, you know what I'm saying? Where we're able to go and extract wealth. All of those are working for these corporations right now, rather than us getting them to explore new things and create new markets and at least dream up new things. But no, our kids got a job. I mean, we balling, according to some people. We waste a lot of money. But a lot of our kids are not able to experience the influence that these niggas come in here talking about. No, they got to get out and work. Rather than being put in a garage with $50,000 worth of research equipment so that they could go on and turn this playing game shit into something, or creating games, or coming up with different programs, or learning about solar power, or learning the power of this new technology that they got coming out where they're able to print whatever they want. Coming up with new ideas and new ways to use this shit. No, they got to do that on the humble. But yo, go to Burger King. Go to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? We so rich. We so affluent. Why are the best of us working at Walmart or in jail, as you pointed out a week ago? Because there's nowhere else for them, because the culture don't provide for them, because right now, as part of what they saying is true, we're not, there is some resources that we could pull to do some stuff, but we're not. We're giving them to other people. Girls, that my honey? Y'all not going to sit up here and eat up on. But family, I hate to cut the conversation off. I need to get over to the school. I'm getting people messaging me. I ain't coming. Can't make it. You know, I'm going to have a good time anyway. And y'all missing out on the money piece today. Because I might not never do this one. And no, I'm not going to tape it. At least not publicly. But we're gonna sit down, we're gonna really have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Where are our gold mines? Where are platinums? I'm not, you know, because it's Navita, think about your grandson. Think about how locked he gets into his games because he enjoy it. What if we was to give him enough experience where he finds something in life where he could get locked in like that? And in some form or fashion, we're able to finance that. This is what our competition does with their children. We find the best ones and we find a way to support them until they make some breakthrough. And if they don't, then we got another 10 or another 15 or another 100 that might pop up with something. It's called venture capital. How much venture capital we got? I tell you, right now we got $250. That's how much venture capital we got as Gye-Nyame. I'm being honest.
Well, I just put some in there yesterday, so we might have 275.
We got 275. You know, but yet people want to come and be like, yo, and I just want to get the point across. I'm not against us being wiser with how and what we spend. I'm not against us putting money and trying to do some things. But what I have to be able to do is, at least for what I see, I have to be able to bring the reality to bear, because we have a lot of people on this fantasy island shit. On this fantasy island shit. We're going to take $1.72 million and flip the whole world? And then on top of that, they're not even talking about where this 172 trillion come from. They don't tell you that part of that goes with the heat bill for those of us that's living in wintertime right now. Part of that goes to electric bill. Part of that goes to car payments and mortgage payments.
Well,
that's the spending.
He said it was like
expendable. It's not. All that's not expendable.
Nevertheless.
I'm sorry.
Nevertheless. You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm about to get off here in a minute, but nevertheless, you know, that would be an interesting conversation to have, you know, when Benassi comes. And the brother said he's going to be there, so.
Okay.
He was new to our class last night. I met him at an ADOS meeting last week. And Alumala and Eunice and I, we went to this ADOS meeting. We met the brother over at the Macedonia Church, I want to believe. Powerful brother out here, you know, in his church making moves, you know, and dropping knowledge on the patrons of the church. So he's worked very well. I was glad. Matter of fact, he has a study group they do at the church, an African Center study group on Thursday. We're going to go check him out. You're welcome to come with us if you got the time. But we'll be able to meet him on Kuumba. And tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I tell him I'm off of here. We got to meet via phone conference for the thing, and I need you to call in. I need you to call in for the phone conference tomorrow. All right. Peace and love.
Why I gotta be so damn early? Alright, but family.
That's what Alona said. I need you to call.
Daddy, my charger's...
What? Alright, hold on, I'll help you. Alright, family. This brother Hatem, I want to thank you for joining us in the congregation of Almighty, the home of the stubborn minority, the place where your hustle builds muscle. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Anime, you better get it together. This is a Heart of a Simple production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. Family, I'm about to get up off of here, but make sure you check us out at GNJmedia.live. Check out our merch store. You can also hit up the tip jar. I'm still waiting for the first tip to roll in. Some of y'all supporting us through our Cash App. But I want to see some of these coins roll up in here. I want to see what it look like. I ain't never seen a full jar yet. So family, but look, we will be having our toast and talk tomorrow. We'll be toasting and talking tomorrow. Also, I'm gonna be releasing one of our own folk tales. So go and check it out. It'll be premiering tomorrow at 6 p.m. The black signal will be going out to remind people, and just look for it. It'll be streaming live. It's called 7 Sticks, and it's the beginning. And if I get enough people to like it, I'm gonna put up part 2. And also the book will be available, or I can send you the audio. This is Brother Hatem. I want to thank each and every last one of you, and Gube for calling in, Sister Navita for calling in. I see the royalty, also known as Deshaun Martin Sensible out there, Margarita, Elder Margarita is out there. Farrah, I seen you, baby. How you doing, Miss Farrah? Miss Lisa Tannenbaugh. Of course, Brother Junior been dropping the knowledge on the timeline. Brother Kwame. I think that's it for right now, at least the people I can see. But I want to thank each and every last one of y'all. Remember, go to GNJmedia.live and support us. And with that, this is Brother Hatem, and I'm out. I'm on my way over to the school. Peace.